Good day, everyone. Today we will be visiting the North Carolina Museum of Natural Science, also known as the NCMNS. It is located in the state's capital, Raleigh, at 11 West Jones Street. The museum is the oldest museum in North Carolina and the largest museum of its kind in southeastern U.S. The museum's origin can be tracked back to 1879 when it was declared that the sole purpose would be to blend research and collections, educate, and conserve. Founded by two brothers, Herbert and Clement Brimley, the museum stays true to its mission statement, which states, to illuminate the interdependence of nature and humanity. The museum consists of 4 floors and even has its own 3D movie theater, which seats 250 people. This can be found on the first floor. Also on the first floor, you have the visitor's information desk, where you can go and get any assistance with anything pertaining to the museum. Around the corner, there's a gift shop with all the trinkets, stuffed animals, candy, you name it. So don't forget to stop by there before you leave. In front of the gift shop, we have the Natural Treasures of North Carolina exhibit. This contains dioramas, which are models representing a scene with three-dimensional figures of various wildlife and artifacts from here in North Carolina. Here you can see the northern gannet and other birds, squirrels, a panther, and the teeth of a great ancestral white shark. If you walk a little further, you will come to the Coastal North Carolina exhibits. Here you will see dioramas and live fish native to North Carolina's coast and inland waterways. The creations of the salt marsh, the maritime forest, barrier islands, dunes and grasslands, continental slope, beach and intertidal zones are impeccable. It makes it seem as if you're actually there, even if it is just for a short period of time. And the little girl in the picture, no, she's not part of the exhibit. That's my niece Madison. She decided to tag along. Here we have some sea turtle nestlings, a diorama of those. Here are some seagulls on the beach. These were some of the aquarium tanks that they had. They're not too big, but they have some species in those that are native to here in North Carolina. And you can see the one chasing that one there. I guess they're just playing. But yeah, they had some very interesting fish in there. This is a diorama of some of the fish that are also on the coast of North Carolina. Animals of the eelgrass, some tropical species there. There's Madison again. There's a sea turtle gobbling away at a jellyfish, the oceanic oasis. Now let's hit the escalators and go up to the second floor. Another addition to the North Carolina coastal plains is the blue whale and the West Indian manatee. Although it's best seen on the second floor, you can actually see it hanging from the first floor as well. So here's some images of those to look at. Around the corner is the North Carolina Mountains to Sea exhibit, where you can see North Carolina's natural habitat from the western mountains through central Piedmont and onto the coastal plain, where you saw those manatees and that blue whale. Well, here are some more additions to the Piedmont, the Savannah. There's a beaver. There's a little diorama waterfall, which I thought was spectacular. It looks so real. You have some fish down at the bottom in the little tank. And then you're going to come across to some other trees and other mountainous parts that you would think about when you think of the western side of North Carolina. And even onto the central part of North Carolina, there's a beaver. So the museum does a very good job at getting at those parts of North Carolina that you think about when you hear the state North Carolina, and even some of the parts of North Carolina that you don't necessarily think about, or the parts that we don't get to see too often because we're always caught up with the amount of trees that are in North Carolina. One thing that I found particularly interesting is the tank with the North Carolina endangered species. And for endangered species, an endangered species is a species of animal or plant that is seriously at risk for extinction. Around the corner, we have the Nature's Explorers exhibit, which covers the museum's beginnings, showing the tools and techniques naturalists used hundreds of years ago to collect and preserve specimens, like fossils, which are the remains or impressions of a prehistoric organism, which are animals or plants, preserved in petrified form or as a mold or cast in rock. Here you can also see the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which was signed in 1918. It ended the commercial trade in birds and bird feathers that had decreased populations of many native species, including the now extinct Carolina parakeet. So, what does it mean if an animal is extinct? An animal that is extinct is one that does not exist anymore. So, what causes extinction? Things like overhunting, natural disasters like hurricanes and tornadoes, earthquakes, as well as competition with other animals. So, if two animals are competing for the same resources like food or shelter, that's going to cause a divide there, and one animal is going to end with either extinction or they can become an endangered species, like I've already mentioned earlier in the video. Also on the second floor is the featured exhibition exhibit, where you can go every 3 to 6 months and visit a new traveling exhibition. There's fun for the whole family. You can go and explore new topics, specimens, and even get experience with other things related to the museum. They are world class museums and exhibition companies, and they're only there for a short time. Unfortunately, when I took my visit there was nothing in the featured exhibition exhibit. Around from the featured exhibition exhibit, we have the Underground North Carolina, which features gems, minerals of North Carolina, as well as ground, soil, and seismic displays. It highlights the rock cycle, the layers of the earth, Emerald City, fire and ice, Garnets Galore, World of Gemstones, just a bunch of beautiful gems and rocks that you wouldn't think are here in North Carolina, but they're actually here. It's time to hit the escalators again, on to floor 3. Once you make it to the third floor, you're at the Prehistoric North Carolina exhibit, which chronicles prehistoric life in the state and throughout southeastern United States. Here we get an overview of all the eras of Earth. So we have the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, the Cenozoic, which is also referred to as the era of the big mammal. So if you think about it, big mammals, you think of dinosaurs, the woolly mammoth, all of those other warm blooded creatures that existed years and years ago that are now extinct. And if you recall, extinct means no longer living. Can you imagine what it would be like to be living during a time where you don't know if you're going to be snatched up by a dinosaur or not? It's pretty scary. So, what you're seeing now is a lot of dioramas of fossils that have been put together of dinosaurs. And no, these aren't actual fossils, they're just creations. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a diorama, which is a three-dimensional creation. There's even a diorama of the human species. Look at that footprint. This is an outdoor exhibit which is dedicated specifically to dinosaurs, and this dinosaur you're looking at now is actually an Acrocanthosaurus. Moving on from the prehistoric North Carolina exhibit to the Tropical Connections exhibit, which focuses on the environmental issues and biodiversity, which is defined by being the variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem. So, what affects biodiversity? You do. The role of people. So, how do we do this? Overconsumption, eating too much of a particular plant or animal. Habitat loss, deforestation. Where are these animals going to live? Overpopulation, too many people in one space. Introduce species, taking one species that's used to living in one spot and introducing it into another space where there's going to cause competition. And then lastly, pollution. Too many pollutants released into the air. Also in this exhibit, they distinguish between the four seasons: spring, summer, fall, and last but not least, you guessed it, winter. Back to the escalators, fourth floor, the arthropod zoo. What's an arthropod? An arthropod is an invertebrate animal, such as an insect, spider, or crustacean. But wait, what's an invertebrate? I'm glad you asked. An invertebrate is an animal that doesn't have a backbone. So here they have a bunch of different pictures and dioramas of insects and arthropods. Definitely not drawn to scale. There's Madison again. Also on the fourth floor, we have the Living Conservatory. It's a dry tropical forest exhibit with various live plants and animals, including butterflies. A windowed chamber preceding the exhibit displays chrysalids of developing butterflies, like the hungry caterpillar, and butterflies that have recently emerged. Unfortunately, when Madison and I visited, the conservatory was actually closed, so we didn't get a chance to visit on the inside. I forgot to tell you guys that admission is absolutely free. So you can visit anytime you like, but donations are accepted. The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 5 p.m. However, for things like the Living Conservatory that you saw were closed when I had my visit, they are closed on Mondays. Tuesday through Friday, they're open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. See you guys on the next go round.